You're the life of the party, I guess. You crave all that attention. Where is everyone when it all ends? Always seems to be the question. I know you like to show it off. It's okay if it's fun, but it's not. Cause you talk about yourself too much. And people go away, they're not insane. As you think, oh no, I walk away, but I ain't losing. Oh no, I'm tired of people trying to fool me. Cause I learned the price of love. Don't give away any more that easily. I just wanna level up. Cause I'm stronger than I was, not the strongest that I can be. Cause I'm stronger than I was, not the strongest that I can be. Here you are, you got so much to say. They want me to pay attention, but never ask me if I wanna stay. But afterward I feel the rising tension. But you wanna open up. Oh, it's okay if it's fun, but it's not. Cause I don't really wanna talk. No wonder why you're alone. I let you to go. Oh no, I walk away, but I ain't losing. Oh no, I'm tired of people trying to fool me. Cause I learned the price of love. Don't give away any more that easily. I just wanna.
Good afternoon, everyone. So thank you to everyone who are joining us via Zoom call and to everyone who's watching us on Facebook. I'm Eunice Braga and I'm the External Relations Manager for Idea Space Philippines. So welcome to the first of our Grit and Grinds this August 2020. We're so glad to have two of our alumni joining us this afternoon. But before we begin the program, let me just share with you some reminders. If you're not familiar with using Zoom, you can press Alt H to turn on the chat. If you're on laptop, if you're on mobile, there is a chat button on your app. And then also, if you want to ask questions, you can ask a question via the Zoom group chat, or we're also on slido.com, that's slido.com, and you can use the code Grit and Grind to send in your questions for this afternoon. So thank you to everyone who's joining us. If you'll indulge me for just a couple of seconds, can you let us know where you're joining from? We'd love to know where everyone is calling from this afternoon, and we'd like to know where you're coming from. So could you just type in the chat where you're calling from this afternoon? So Jez, my colleague, is joining us from Makati. I'm joining from Laguna. We have callers from Laguna, Cavite, and Cebu. So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and for being with us here for this webinar. So before anything else, I'd just like to take a moment to introduce our speakers for this afternoon. We have two of our alumni from the Idea Space Acceleration Program. The first is Mr. Roderick de la Cruz, who is the founder and CEO of Integrated Parking Solutions Incorporated, or IPARK. He is a scientist turned engineer turned technopreneur with a lot of technology and inventions by Filipino scientists and engineers failing to be successfully commercialized. Roderick believes that forming entrepreneurial teams is key for its success. iPark was created because drivers lose almost 30 minutes every day to look and pay for parking. Through its mobile app, iPark allows customers to pay for parking as well as look at the availability of spaces through both customized porting hardware with AI and image recognition technology. Our second speaker for this afternoon is Mr. Arcelio Catizanan Jr., who is the CEO of Futuristic Aviation and Maritime Enterprise Incorporated, or FAME. Junjun has been in the IT industry, both software and hardware, for the past 18 years. He developed FAME transponders originally to solve tracking and monitoring issues in the aviation industry. They also realized that the IoT device he developed can also be used for tracking maritime vessels and for sending telemetry data from sensors. Currently, Junjun is also designing devices to help fight COVID-19 using technology. So thank you so much for joining us, Sir June and Sir Rode. Can you turn on your videos? Hi.
Yep. Hello.
All right. So I guess we should proceed with the talk. Sir June,
Okay.
could you share your slides?
I'll just share my
Thank
screen.
you.
Okay. Can you see my screen now? Yeah. Yep. Okay. So good afternoon all. So okay. There. So basically yung topic na natin ngayon is how to develop a business from customer pain points. Doon yung focus ngayon ng ating topic, and ikwento ko yung experiences namin with regards to FAME and also sharing my own personal experiences. Actually, I prepared the script sana, kaya lang parang masyadong formal if I do that. Mas maganda siguro pagka explain ko na lang dire-diretso pagka na gano'n. So I'll start with FAME. Siguro ano yung mga ginawa namin paano namin na-develop yung aming produkto regarding the transponders using this. So yun, FAME stands for Futuristic Aviation and Maritime Enterprise. We're actually in the business right now of uplifting the lives of fishermen through our maritime transponders. Later, discuss ko rin yung mga COVID-19 solutions that we are currently doing. So yan, when we started FAME, actually, ang pinakauna naming pain point nung time na yan, kasi basically, I fly small airplanes. So, kaya namin dinevelop to para talaga dapat sa mga aeroplano, sa maliliit na aeroplano. So, ang ano namin doon, whenever we fly, for example, nasa Bulacan kami, we need to report our location every 5 minutes through radio kasi baka magkabanggaan kami ng mga ibang airplanes. So, we have around 85 airports, we have 10 with radar, 41 community airports na walang radar. It's a problem kung hindi ka makikipag-communicate using the radio. So that's why dinevelop namin yung device na to specifically for that purpose. Kaya lang nakita rin namin, lalo na yung father ko before is a maritime lawyer, yun, nakita namin yung need sa maritime industry din pala. Tama-tama nung nanalo kami sa Ideas Space 2015, then we incorporated 2015 din. Doon din na isa batas yung Republic Act 10654. Which is requiring all vessels to have tracking and monitoring capability. So doon, nakita namin na fit pa rin pala siya for maritime use. Ayan. So that's why we develop yung aming transponders for aircrafts. And then yun nga, napunta kami sa maritime, and eventually nakita din namin yung mga ibang use cases kasi maraming pain points kami nakita on the part naman ng sending telemetry data. For example, doon sa areas na walang telco signal, hindi sila makapag-send ng data remotely. So doon, nakapasok kami, we were able to help them using that. Pero sa sobrang dami ng use case nung product na nagawa namin, as a startup, we really need to focus. And ang pinili namin talagang focus namin is on the maritime side. Yun ganun nangyari. So, on the aviation side, pakita ko lang yung mga sample trackings namin. Ito, yung student pilot, natatrack na nila ngayon kung nasan na siya at any given time. Nung kahit nasa baba instructor, natatrack niya na yung student pilot. For maritime naman, yun, nagsimula kami before sa mga wooden hull type of boats. Yun yung mga first na ininstalan namin. Kaya lang, habang tumatagal, habang naririnig namin yung mga kwento mismo, kasi what we do is we actually talk with the captains, we talk with fishermen, and mas nakita namin yung mas maraming pain point on the fishing industry. Kaya yun, nahati pa yung aming maritime. On the maritime side, nag-focus pa kami on the fishing side. So, ito yung typical na araw namin sa aming wala kami sa office halos magdamag. lagi kaming nasa mga bahay ng mga mangingisda. So we ask them kung ano yung mga problema nila, yung mga nagiging problem sa sea. For example, pag nawawala sila, anong ginagawa nila? Doon namin nalaman na yung iba nag-aantay na lang. Pag may dumaan na iba, kakaway sila, masusundo sila. Yung iba talagang pure luck na naliligtas sila pagka kailangan ng tulong. And eventually, nakita rin namin yung processes na dinadaanan nila, paano nila binibenta yung mga isda nila. So, talagang yun, nakita namin yung pain point ng mga mangingisda. That's why yung aming naging focus is on the fishing industry. So, what we did was we developed yung transponders specifically para sa mga maliliit na mangingisda. Yung mga maliliit na boats natin. These are the boats, yung tinatawag nila municipal or sa ibang lugar tinatawag nila artisanal. They're the ones that within the 15-kilometer radius ng isang port, ng isang bayan, for example, doon lang sila nangingisda. So, yun, doon kami nag-focus for tracking, monitoring. Nagsimula kami on that for basically for tracking them, for monitoring them, para kung halimbawa may sakunang nangyari o may nawawala, we can actually find them. Ito yung isang screenshot nun. So, ito sa Sangani Bay, so you can actually see kung nasaan na yung mga mangingisda at any given time, saan yung ruta nila, and you can even view it on mobile. So, yun, na-solve namin yung problem na yun on that part. Kaya lang, during our validations pa rin, habang nandun kami, for example, we were in Gensan, nakikita namin yung Republic Act 10654 was created para specifically para matugunan din yung ating yung ating mga problems on documentation and traceability ng mga isda natin. Kasi yung mga export natin, dinadala natin sa Europe or sa ibang bansa. Last 2015 then, we were given a yellow card by the European Union because of problems with fish catch documentation and traceability. So, dun, tinignan namin paano ginagawa yon. So, nagulat kami nung pagpunta namin doon, basically halos lahat manual pa nung time na yon. So,
I can learn to understand you much better if I can.
Yellowfin tuna, ang ginagawa nila, pag dumating yung isda, may ribbon na tinatali. So para malaman kung kanino to. Tapos sa ribbon, nakasulat doon yung pangalan ng kapitan, anong weight ng isda, lahat ng information nakasulat doon. Tapos pag nabili na siya, papalitan lang yung ribbon. So yung ribbon naman ng buyer yung ikakabit, tapos isusulat ulit yung information. So lahat manual. Yun yung process na nakagisnan na natin. Effective naman siya, pero basically we need to have a solution na makakatulong talaga on the traceability side. So doon pumasok pa rin, we enhance our transponders para magamit na siya for traceability. So nagkaroon ng project noon. Unang-una yan nagkaroon kami ng project with DOST Fisheries sa Palawan, and may isang processor na lumapit sa amin na sinabi paano kaya makakatulong. Una nakita namin is on the tracking and monitoring lang. But nung nakita namin yung process nila, we were able to suggest yung paggamit ng NFC technology. So sa ngayon, dun sa gumagamit ng aming NFC, imbis na tatalian lang nila yung isda tapos susulatan nila information, sa dagat pa lang, ang gagawin lang nila, pag nahuli nila isda, kukuha lang sila ng NFC card, itatap lang nila doon sa transponder, automatic yung kailangan na impormasyon, yung latitude, longitude, timestamp, kung nandun lahat na ng information, pati yung pangalan ng kapitan, boat name, lahat nandun. Ginagawa nila, tinatali na lang doon sa ating mga isda. Kaya pagdating sa port, makikita natin, ito yung sample, ito sa Palawan to, lahat ng isdang pumapasok, may nakatali na NFC card sa kanila na lahat ng information nandun na. So basically, we're solving matagal na problema na pinadali namin. Actually, may solution din na ginawa yung iba. For example, yung pagsusulat ng fish catch. Ang problem lang sa mga isda, mas mahirapan sila kung magsusulat sila kasi basa yung environment, and mas matatagalan sila. Mag-focus na lang sila doon sa pangingisda nila. So, eventually, nagkaroon din ng system si PIFAR. Ang kagandaan doon sa system nila, lahat ginawa rin nila automatic. Pero yung sa amin, parang tumutulong siya para i-aid yun. So basically, last year na pag-usapan namin kung paano namin malilipat yung information coming in from the NFC papunta doon sa sistema ni PIFAR. So hanggang ngayon, pinag-uusapan yun para mangyari yun. Pero sa ngayon, may mga processors na gumagamit na nung data coming in from the NFC card. So yun, coming in from a pain point na dahil binigyan tayo ng yellow card, they're requiring us to have this push-catch documentation and traceability. Kaya namin naisip na gawin tong technology na to. Pero nakakagulat doon, hindi lang pala sa Pilipinas problema yon. Actually, yung binabigyan ng yellow card last 2015, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, even Taiwan, nabigyan din sila. So, lahat yon through the help of USAID naman, dinala kami doon sa mga lugar na yon, and we were able to present yung aming technology. And nagulat kami na kailangan din pala talaga nila yon doon sa area nila. So dito yung pinapakita lang namin sa sablayan after namin mag-deploy doon sa mga boats doon. Alam na natin kung saan nahuli mismo yung isda. Nandun na kagad yung information which is needed, solving the problem of traceability from the point of catch until dumating sa processor. So ito rin yung sample sa Lagonoy Gulf, yun din yung ginawa namin doon. Yun, actually before the lockdown, natuwa kami kasi basically on the traceability side, nagkakaroon ng momentum eh. So mas marami nang nagpapa-install kasi kailangan siya for traceability. Yung last March, actually nandun kami sa Lagonoy, we're deploying already kasi they're actually eyeing to have yung tinatawag MSC certification para yung produkto nila mas mabenta ng maayos papunta sa export quality papunta sa ibang bansa. So ito yung mga deployments namin doon. Kaya lang, itong araw na to, March 12 to. So basically, nung March 12, biglang nag-announce. So yun nga, magkakaroon tayo ng enhanced community quarantine. So lahat kami, wala kaming choice but to go back to Manila, to Jensen, and then work from home. So ganun yung nangyari. Pero while working from home, siguro ganun yung nature ng mga startups siguro, Chan, mga entrepreneurs. Tinitingnan mo paano ka makakatulong with that. So with us, we have a lot of questions. So paano ba kami makakatulong sa COVID-19 using our technology, or ano ba yung mga pwede namin gawin na mga projects na makakatulong talaga, at ano yung mga major issues. So yun, it crossed our mind, and nakakatuwa doon kasi within weeks, we have our first project na already. So it's not on maritime, but it's a need right now. So unang-una is yung project namin together with DOST. Ito yung mga specimen collection booths. So nagtawag ng proposal si DOST, and then we presented our proposal, and ayun, in-incorporate namin doon yung aming mga technology ginagamit sa transponder. So meron siyang pressure sensor, meron siyang temperature sensor to actually aid doon sa pagprotekta doon sa kumukuha ng testing habang tinitest yung patient sa COVID-19. So pero hindi naging madali rin yun kasi mga bilisan siya, tapos kailangan namin i-validate yun. So basically what we did was to, after creating the prototypes, we actually worked with unang-una PGH, Lung Center, mga ibang 4 na hospitals yung pinuntahan namin to validate yung product namin kung papasa ba sa kanila to. And eventually they have several recommendations. After that, in just a week, kasi kailangan nga mabilisan na dahil kailangan natin mailabas, ayun, we were able to deliver 132 specimen collection booths nationwide. Dito ko nakita yung talagang tulungan between the government and private sector siguro. Kasi on our part, talagang tumulong sila. Ang laking tulong din sa amin ng Office of Civil Defense, Coast Guard, Philippine Air Force, para ma-distribute namin yung mga units sa labas. Kasi di ba, ECQ tayo, walang way to go out. So, nag-deploy kami sa Visayas, sa Mindanao, and even sa parts ng Luzon nang walang problema dahil sa tulong ng government din. Tapos, isang ginawa namin dito para mas makatulong is inopen namin yung design namin. We uploaded it to sa website ng DOST for anyone to download. And ang pinaka nakakatuwa doon, may nag-download na organization sa Ethiopia. So ngayon sa Ethiopia, ginagamit na rin yung same booth na to. Yung design ng booth, ginagamit na rin sa Africa ngayon. Yun. Sunod na isang project na naisip namin gawin, coming in from the pain point din, kasi nung binabanggit nung time ng mga April yon, baka magkaubusan tayo ng mga ventilators, lalo na kung hindi makontrol yung dami ng nagkakasakit ng COVID-19. So what we did was to develop yung tinatawag namin na ventilator alternative, which we called RUA. RUA in Hebrew means breath of God. So we make use of readily available parts. So paano ba siya gumagana? Ano na siya? It can be used to aid the patient in breathing while waiting for a ventilator. Umaga, kumuha kami ng ambubag, tapos in-automate lang namin yung pag-pump nito. Pero dito rin, dahil sa medical equipment to, kailangan namin sumunod doon sa proseso kasi hindi basta-basta pwedeng magamit siya pagka ginawa mo lang. Kailangan dumaan sa mga testing tsaka sa mga approvals ng government tsaka mga testing facilities. So what we did, we have three iterations na already. We get feedback from experts, lalo na yung mga talagang gumagamit na itong doktor, yung mga nagkakabit sa pasyente, and we got their feedback. So una doon, basically nilagyan namin siya ng remote interface para remote yung control ng device. And at the same time, we're building the third prototype now para mapatest namin do sa isang facility. Meron tayo dito yung Mediquip yung pangalan. Kailangan dumaan muna doon before we get another approval for it to be used for example sa FDA. So ganun yung process. Medyo matagal but we're following that. Kasi gusto namin makatulong, gusto namin makakontribute on the number of ventilator alternatives na pwedeng ilabas natin. Pero, ayun, last July 25, nag-announce na naman yung World Health Organization. Sabi nila, baka magkulang na rin tayo pati sa mga oxygen equipment. Sa dami na nagkakasakit ng COVID-19, baka pati mga oxygen tanks natin na puno or magkulang. So nakita natin yon na ang kailangan talaga ng mga COVID patients is they must have adequate amount of oxygen sa katawan nila para mag-survive, para mabuhay. So what we did was to actually create yung tinatawag namin RUA-O2. It's an oxygen concentrator. It's a device na parang alternative siya for a tank. So imbis na maglalagay kang tank doon, you can make use of this and lalabas sa kanya is concentrated oxygen na. So siguro pakita ko lang how it works. So it actually, may 4-step process siya. Intake, may pump na nagpapasok ng hangin papunta dun sa pinaka-device. And then meron tayong filtering na tinatawag. Yung filtering, dito meron to yung mga HEPA filters na nilalagay. Tapos meron yung tinatawag na molecular sieves. Ito yung naghihiwalay ng nitrogen doon sa hangin. Kasi basically, hindi naman pwede, para ma-concentrate yung oxygen, tanggalin natin yung ibang gases na involved. So, tapos pagka natanggal na yung nitrogen, we store it and compress it. Tapos ready na for delivery kung kailangan na kagad ng pasyente. So, we even actually made it mobile para talaga yung mga nurse, kasi di ba normally ayaw natin malapit sila, so they can control it via mobile or monitor it via mobile and they can see. So on the right, you can see a video, simple video lang naman na pinapakita how it works. Pero it can be deployed actually, installed or ikabit sa mga taong nahihirapan huminga pero kaya pa nila huminga, or pwede ito ikabit sa ventilator or mga ventilator alternative para mag-provide ng oxygen kung kinakailangan. So yun, so basically those all came from pain points. Not only naman ng iba, but lahat tayo, kasi lahat tayo kasama naman ngayon doon sa naka-quarantine at nag-iingat na magkasakit ng COVID-19. So yun naman namin, let's to help actually COVID-19 patients to breathe. Kaya namin ginawa yon. Although sa maritime side hindi naman nawawala yon. So we actually pivoted a little para makatulong din, para makapagbigay ng tulong using our technology. Yon. So, nabanggit ko kanina, mag-share din ako ng isang personal experience din. So, basically, ito, kakaiba naman, hindi related sa company, but on my own. Kasi, basically, pinaka-problem ko during the ECQ. So, hindi na masyadong nagta-travel, so less physical activity. I tried to do walking and stationary jogging but it doesn't work. So basically parang mabigat pa rin yung feeling. Tapos syempre sa ECQ, mahilig tayo kumain, so medyo lumalaki. Ang isang binabanggit, 'di ba, na magiging vulnerable ka if you have diabetes, if you have high blood pressure. So 'yon, kaya so ano ba yung way natin para makaiwas talaga doon? Una, syempre, 'yon, stay at home, follow natin yung mga social distancing and iba. Pero nakita ko rin, sabi ko, mas maganda siguro matanggal ako doon sa vulnerable part na yon. So, mas pag natanggal ka doon, at least safe. Kahit pa paano, parang safe ka. Kasi consistent na ang taas ng blood sugar ko. Siguro March, April yon. Ganun yung nangyayari. Hindi bumababa kahit anong gawin ko. So, what I did for that purpose is, gumawa ako ng solusyon. So nag-indoor biking ako. Meron akong lumang bisikleta, pero what I did with that is kinabitan ko siya ng mga sensors. And merong app ngayon na tinatawag na online app, tawag sa kanya Zwift. So basically you can do indoor biking sa bahay. You can go to Europe, you can go to New York, you can go to France by just biking at home. Pero yun, yung view mo is yung view ng while you're doing biking. So nakakatuwa kasi yun, nung ginawa ko to, nagulat ako doon sa results niya. So, yun. So pakita ko lang, hindi ako nagpo-promote ng pangkuha ng sugar. Pero yun, ito yung sugar ko. After 2 weeks, nagulat ako. Consistent akong 200 to 250 yung sugar ko before this. Pero within just 2 weeks, bumaba siya to 124. Isang araw, 1 hour ako nag-exercise every day. Kasi nakakatuwa online siya. Para ka lang naglalaro talaga. But basically, it helps you. After 4 weeks, nagulat ako, 117 na yung aking sugar. Daily kinukuha ko sa umaga. And then just after 8 weeks, 107 na siya. Pasok na ako dun sa normal. So nakakatuwa kasi yun, at least na kaya pala bumaba yung sugar. Ang isang ko dito, dahil sa tuwa ko, in-upload ko lang siya sa internet or binanggit ko sa mga kaibigan ko. And nalaman ko, hindi lang pala ako yung may problema ng ganito. Ang dami palang may problema kasi napapakain, walang exercise, so tumataas yung BP, tumataas yung And ang dami nagtanong, paano ba yung ginawa ko? Paano ginawa kong setup doon sa bike? So, naisip ko, i-share sa kanila. Kaya lang ang problem ngayon doon sa mga iba, medyo mahal yung devices pag gagamit ka ng yung mga tinatawag na may power meter pa na mga devices. Tapos sa abroad pa kinukuha, medyo mahirap magpa-import tapos mahal. So, anong ginawa ko? So basically, I created my own roller. So basically, siya, parang trainer din siya, bike roller na pwede gamitin. Kasi nakita ko, parang may opportunity, ang dami nagtatanong. Actually, ang dami ko na na-setapan. Hindi ako pumunta sa kanila. Pinapadala ko lang yung devices and then sila yung gumagawa and then nakaka-connect na sila. So, sabi ko, baka pwedeng gumawa ng device na mura lang, na pwedeng magamit. Tapos patok na patok kasi ang dami palang gusto mag-indoor biking ngayon. Lalo na yung mga bikers na hindi rin makalabas. So, ang ginawa ko rin, kinausap ko yung mga nagbibisikleta. Actually, I get feedback from other people. And yon, ito yung kinalabasan niya. So basically, nakapag-create kami ng isang device na pwedeng gamitin indoors, tapos madali siya tanggalin, madaling gamitin. Yon, tapos sa ngayon, ito na yung itsura niya pag nakakabit sa bike. So you can actually do biking even at home. So yun, coming in from my personal pain point, tapos nakita ko pain point din pala ng iba yon. Ang dami rin palang ganun yung problem na mataas na yung BP nila, mataas na yung sugar nila. So why not makatulong? Yun yung So sa ngayon, we're testing this. Pakita ko lang yung video siguro. May ingay pa, sorry. Ayun. So yan lang yung habang umaandar ako. But you can see, you can do biking kahit nasa loob. Tapos it's equipped with sensors para pwede mo connect sa mobile mo or sa TV para makapag indoor biking ka using Zwift. Kagandahan sa Zwift, you can be with others. Pwede kayo mag-chat habang nagbibisikleta kayo sabay. Nasa ibang bahay sila, nandiyan ka sa bahay nyo. But you can do it. So yun lang. So this is a personal experience naman other than fame. Pero doon siguro pumapasok yon yung ating parang gusto natin makatulong sa isang problema, let's do it. So siguro isang payo na rin yon doon sa mga gustong magtayo ng negosyo or magtayo ng isang tech company. If you think naman na makakatulong talaga, wala namang masama i-try actually. So yun, katulad nitong sa biking, actually hindi bago lang ako nagbabike, but basically ngayon, kausap ko pati yung mga sikat na vloggers ng mga biking. Nag-i-email kami kasi basically they're really interested with the indoor biking that we created. Yun, so far yun yung aking i-share. Sana nakatulong and naka-inspire din sa iba on how to actually create your business with customer pain points. Yan. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Sir June. So I think we have a couple of questions in Slido. Guess we should tackle a few. So how did you introduce the technology to the fishermen and how did you help them appreciate it?
Okay. Yun. Magandang tanong yan kasi actually sa simula, medyo mahirap kasi bago na naman bagong technology and then you introduce to them. Akala nila nung una mahal and then Ang kagandahan is we partnered with maritime organizations. So unang tumulong sa amin, WWF, Oceana, and then other organizations. And tapos isa pang pinakamalaking tulong sa amin is yung Project Oceans ng USAID. So basically we partnered with them, and yun, dinala namin talaga doon sa mga organizations ng mga for example doon sa mga tuna handliners. So we talked to them, we gave them a brief, tapos pinakita namin how it works and ano yung magiging benefits sa kanila. And ang kagandahan doon is napaka-open nila. So basically ang ano doon, hindi naman kagad sila yung bumili. Ang nag-support sa amin is the maritime organization, and we gave them to them for free para magamit nila for ilang years. So ganun yung nangyari. Kaya nakapasok kami on giving it to the maritime industry naman. Yeah.
And then I think another question related to that. Why is traceability important, particularly for fishermen? You mentioned before na yung previous system was basically tinatali lang yung pangalan dun sa catch. So, can they make more money if the catch is traceable?
Okay. Yun yung actually kalimitan tanong din ng mga mangingisda, mas tataas ba yung namin yan? Pero ang kagandahan doon, pag meron traceability yung isda mo, mas ma-appreciate ng mga buyers. So basically, mas sa'yo kukuha lagi kasi basically you have traceability data. And napaka-importante pala ng traceability sa ibang bansa. Dapat alam mo talaga saan nahuli yung isda, kailan nahuli, para at least yung tinatawag nilang sustainability, tsaka yun, dapat hindi siya galing sa IUU fishing, yung illegal, unregulated, unreported fishing. So medyo ganun sila ka-concerned. So if we have that traceable fish, meron siyang data, mas binibili siya ng mga buyers, or in our case dito, yung mga processors, mas gusto nila yon.
Okay, so thank you. That's very, very informative. It's actually something I didn't know until you mentioned it. We have a couple of questions, but I think we'll save them for later during the Q&A. So thank you, Sir
Thank you very
June.
much.
We'll see you in a bit. So now I'd like to call on our second speaker for this afternoon, Mr. Rodek de la Cruz. Hi, Sir Rodek. Good afternoon.
Hi, set up lang ako.
So again, as a reminder for everyone who's in the call, or even for those who are following us via Facebook, since we're tracking your questions there as well. If you have any questions, please send it via the group chat here on Zoom or on Slido. The code for our Slido event is Grit and Grind. So all small caps, GRIT, AND, GRIND. And then you can also send them over on Facebook because we're keeping track of the comments on our Facebook page as well. So, are you ready, Sir Rodek?
Kita niyo na yung slides?
Yes, you can see your slides.
Okay, sige. So, good afternoon. So, welcome to Grit and Grind by Idea Space. I'm Rodek de la Cruz. So, I'm here to discuss about forming a startup team around the pain point. So, actually, one of my co-founders here, Dan Ray. So, we're from the 5th cohort of Idea Space. So, the pain point we are solving is the 30 minutes lost by each driver every day to look for parking and to pay for parking. So, let me tell you how we're able to discover this pain point and what we're doing to develop a startup around it. So when I was a young engineer, so I like watching late night movies with my friends. So one time after watching the last full show of a movie in a big shopping mall, we were shocked to find that the line to the parking exit was very long, stretching all the way to basement 3. And we were parked at basement 3. So it took us almost 1 hour just to exit the parking lot. So I was bothered by the thought na every time mag-late night movie kami, last full show, pipila kami ng 1 hour para na makalabas sa parking. So fortunately, kakilala ko yung supplier ng parking system ng mall na yon. So I called him up. Sabi ko, pwede ko mga ayusin yung parking system nyo. Diyan kasi kami lagi nanonood ng sine. So he quickly agreed. Kasi apparently, nag-audit pala yung owner ng mall sa kanila dahil may problema sa parking . So after a few days, so I was able to lessen yung transaction time nila per car from 30 seconds before to 15 seconds. So meron pa rin queuing sa exit pero much shorter na. So after that, he offered me a job, no? Kung pwede kong i-head yung development nung next generation parking nila. So napunta ako sa parking. And unfortunately, that company closed down due to financial problems. But several years later, nag-form ako ng startup company and we develop our own parking system na merong fully automated na parking entrance, card dispenser. And then, meron kang option either to pay at a parking cashier inside the mall or at an autopay kiosk. And then sa exit, pagbayad ka na, insert mo lang yung card mo para makalabas ka. So if you've ever been to Araneta Center, so Gateway Mall, Araneta Coliseum, Ale Mall, doon naka-install yung parking system namin. So we were the first company way back 2016 that was able to implement such a system. So when we started with our parking system business, so we were actually solving a very different set of pain point. No? So hindi pa yung naunang slide. So as a parking system provider, and our buying customers are the property owners and mall operators. So ano ba yung pain point nila? So basically una, mahaba yung line sa parking. So I'm sure na-realize yun na parang punong-puno yung mall, ang haba ng pila sa entrance. Yung pala mabagal lang yung parking entrance. Or nagka-problema yung parking entrance, hindi makapasok yung mga kotse. Mahaba tuloy yung traffic sa labas. And then yung isang next problem is minsan nasisira yung parking terminal. So I'm sure marami kayong nakita ng mga installation sa mall na meron naman silang card dispenser machine pero may nakatabing security guard nagbibigay ng card. Ganun. Or yung minsan natatraffic kayo dahil nagloloko yung parking terminal. And then yung third pain point ni mall owner is fraud dun sa collection ng parking payments. Kasi akala niyo maliit lang yung yung kita sa parking. Pero isipin mo 50 pesos. Kung merong sa isang mall siguro mga one day usually meron silang mga around 1,000 parkers. So 50 times 1,000, 50,000 pesos. Tapos yun, hawak-hawak lang ni parking cashier. So pag may nawalang 100 pesos, 200 pesos, 500 pesos every day, minsan hindi napapansin yun ng mall owner. So when we qualified for Idea Space Batch 5, yung tanong namin sa mga mentors, meron kaming magandang product pero hindi kami makapag-grow. Bakit kaya? So the first thing they asked us was, sino ba yung customer nyo? So for the longest time, we thought yung mga mall owners yung customer namin kasi sila yung bumibili ng parking system namin . But apparently, hindi lang sila yung customer namin. Our other customers are the drivers who are the customers of the small owners. So nag-conduct kami ng market study para malaman ano ba yung hinahanap ng mga drivers sa parking system. Tapos ito yung lumabas dun sa survey namin. Gusto nila yung parking well lighted, tapos sementado, may 24/7 security, may bubong pag umuulan, tsaka mainit, ganun. So PWD friendly. Tapos tinanong din namin kung gusto nila ng automated parking o with cashier. Sabi nila, pwede naman automated, pwede rin naman may cashier. Okay lang. So, actually, based dun sa market study namin, yung automated parking pala na main product namin, small part lang siya ng requirement nung mall goers, ng mga drivers. Ngayon, yung other concerns ng driver is better addressed by the mall owner. So, problem namin, magkaiba nga ba yung requirements ni mall owner tsaka ni driver with regard sa parking system? Dapat hindi, di ba? So, nagtuloy lang kami ng pag-research at pagtanong at pag-observe. So, after 1 month, nakuha na namin ano ba yung problem talaga ni driver. Actually, wala naman silang pakialam kung cemented yung parking o hindi, kung may bubong o hindi, kung may car dispenser o hindi. Actually, gusto lang nila makapark eh. Basta may parking, yun ako. So, another thing is that they don't really care kung automated yung parking o hindi. Pero gusto nila na mabilis silang makabayad at mabilis silang makalabas ng parking lot. So, ito yung nakita namin na problem talaga ni driver. So, after a few more weeks na-refine namin yung problem, ito na yung pain point statement namin. So, the pain point we are solving is a 30 minutes loss by each driver every day looking for parking and paying for parking. So, nalaman namin na actually very effective siya kasi every time mag-meet kami with a client or a potential business partner, tapos nagsisimula ako, the other day, nag-spend ako ng more than 30 minutes para maghanap ng parking sa Makati. Tapos sabihin nila, ay sir, ako rin. Hirapan ako maghanap ng parking sa Makati. Tapos sabihin, sa Mega Mall, hindi ako makapark ng weekend. Sa Divisoria, walang parking doon. Sa Mall of Asia, ang laki-laki ng Mall of Asia, pero ang hirap-hirap mag-park. Tapos, meron din mga kwento na yung pag naabutan ka sa closing ng SM or any mall, ang hirap mahaba yung pila, ang hirap lumabas. So actually kahit sa ang mall, basta naabutan ka ng closing ng mall, mahirap lumabas ng parking. So before, we thought na yung mga mall owners tsaka drivers, meron silang different pain point kasi magkaiba sila ng customer segment magkaiba sila ng customer profile. But based on our experience, yung problem ng driver pala, problem rin ni mall owner. And then they appreciate us articulating the problem of their customers. So as the property owner or the mall manager, so concerned sila about yung customer experience ng mall nila. And naintindihan nila na yung parking, yun yung una at huling makikita ng customer nila pag pumunta sila ng mall. And then yung 30 minutes na sabihin nyo, maliit yung 30 minutes na nasasayang na driver para maghanap ng parking. Importante pala sa kanila yun. Bakit? Kasi 30 minutes, pwede ka nang kumain sa isang restaurant. Or 30 minutes, nakabili ka na ng isang set of clothes noon. Or 30 minutes, yun yung difference ng naabutan mo yung start ng sine or na-late ka. Or dahil malilate ka na, hindi ka na nakabili ng snacks. Yun yung kita ng mall yung may kumain sa restaurant, may bumili ng clothes, may nanood ng sine, and then bago manood ng sine, bumili ng snacks. So actually meron kaming joke internally. Pag sa casino, malaki-laki na daw yung 30 minutes. So yung 30 minutes na wasted din to pay for parking, importante din pala yun. Kasi everyone na-experience nyo na nasa mall kayo, meron kayong gustong bilhin, o namimili pa kayo kung ano yung gusto nyong bilhin, pero kailangan nyo nang umalis kasi ayaw nyong abutan na magko-close yung mall, mahirap na yung lumabas kapag naabutan ka ng closing ng mall So actually yung mga installation namin mostly sa Araneta Center ngayon. Kasi sila actually malaki yung problema nila sa parking. So yung ibang mga malls, during the day labas pasok yung mga tao yung mga kotse. Sila before the show dahan-dahan yung dating ng tao. Pero end of the show, 15,000 people sabay-sabay lalabas. So imagine niyo ganong karaming kotse 'yon. Gusto lumabas ng sabay-sabay. So before na kinuha nila yung system namin, pag nakalabas ka ng 30 minutes ng gateway after a Ginebra game, swerte ka na eh. Minsan 1 oras yun. Eh, buti na lang kinuha nila yung system namin kasi pan ako ng Hinebra eh. So, next is the pain point we're solving. So, yes. Bakit? Kasi parking is actually a large and highly profitable market. So, di ba, parang there's 1 million cars passing through EDSA every day. So, conservatively, pwede tayo mag-estimate na there's at least 2 million parking instances every day sa buong Metro Manila. So, at 30 pesos per day, nakaagad yun, 21 billion peso per year for Metro Manila alone. Conservative ba yun? But when we showed this to an Australian investor several years ago, he asked me, actually napatingin siya mabuti sa slide eh. Tapos tinanong niya, do you know how much is the parking fee in downtown Sydney? Sabi ko, we have no idea. Sabi niya, it's 70 Australian dollars. So nag-compute ako, research ko, ano pa rin, 2,100 pesos every day. So, siya, actually, sobrang laki nung parking business sa Australia. Actually, sa Philippines, malaki. Sa Australia, mas mahal. So, parang kahit yung float pa lang nung parking fee na yun, malaki ng pera. So, we have the market and we have the problem. So, paano namin nalaman na kami yung right person to turn that pain point into a business? So, actually, yung unang, meron kaming in-depth knowledge dun sa parking industry. So, easily, we've accumulated over 10,000 hours in developing the parking system. Sabi nila 10,000 hours daw para maging expert ka. So, kami, more than 10,000 hours na kaming nagde-develop ng parking, nagbebenta ng parking, nag-i-install ng parking, nagsusupport ng parking. Tapos we've also met sa lahat ng tao na nasa parking, yung mga cashier, yung mga gwardiya, yung mga parking supervisor, parking manager, mall manager. Nagpresenta rin kami sa pinaka-property owner. So lahat nung requirement na yon over, and actually the past 15 years, na-accumulate na namin. So minsan may mga questions yung mall managers tsaka parking managers regarding sa operations ng parking nila tsaka sa parking automation. May mga sagot na kami sa lahat ng mga tanong nila. Tapos may mga example pa kaming deployment ng mga stories. Sige, magkukwento ako ng isang story. So alam niyo naman yung Robinson's Galleria. Diba? Alam niyo bang wala silang grace period dun sa parking fee nila? Kasi usually pag sa ibang mga parking area, pag pumasok ka, tapos pag puno na yung parking lot, pwede kang lumabas within 15 minutes tapos hindi ka nila sisingilin. So dun sa Galleria before, meron silang grace period. Pero na-realize ng parking manager, bakit ang dami-daming nag-grace period dito na parkers? Parang 10%, mga parang 20% ng parkers nila nag-grace period. So, tinrace nila yon. Yung pala, kasi yun Galleria tapos Poveda na school. Tapos, bawal mag-park sa harap ng Poveda. So, ginagawa ng mga school service, ng mga parents na susundo ng mga kids, instead of mag-park, tumambay sa taas na bawal, magpa-park sila sa loob ng ng basement ng Galleria. Tapos mag-antay sila 10 minutes. Tapos lalabas sila. Tapos iikot sila ulit, magpa-park sila. So, nung nalaman nila yan, tinanggal na nila yung grace period dun sa parking nila. So, besides sa market experience, actually, yung isang proud kami is meron kaming technology capability para gumawa ng parking lot. So akala niya simple lang yun nagdi-dispense ng card, nagtataas ng barrier. But actually it's a robot of sorts na connected sa isang information system. So meron doon sensor na nagde-detect na merong kotse. Tapos pag meron siyang na-detect na kotse, magkakaroon ng voice prompt saying please press a button to get a card, or please tap a card. So, mukha siyang simple, but actually, mahirap siyang gawin. So, pero nagawa namin siya. So now, meron kaming pain point, meron kaming market, meron kaming capability. No? Ngayon, how do we build a tech-enabled business? No? So, ayan. Actually, yung unang-unang ginawa namin, actually, hindi siya yung unang-unang ginawa namin eh. Actually, huli siya sa mga ginawa namin, pero parang ito yung pinaka-critical na dapat gawin when you're trying to go into when you're forming a startup. No? So actually, kala ng mga tao yung startup is about developing products, but actually it's about developing an organization that will support that product. So kahit meron kang magandang product, kung wala kang organization para mag-manufacture nun, para mag-market nun, para magbenta nun, para mag-support nun, walang bibili ng product mo. So yung organization is actually the hardest part in developing a startup, but also the most critical. Pero actually, siya rin yung mas fulfilling na parang meron kang batang inalagaan na lumalaki. Na matigas ang ulo, maraming problema. Pero eventually, lumalaki siya. So yung unang ginawa namin, actually before, very decentralized yung business namin. So maraming mga startup, ganito yung setup eh. Na meron silang founder, tapos yung founder nila, siya yung developer, siya yung nagsisales, siya yung nagte-technical support. So lahat-lahat na, gumagawa ng finances. So yung kasi yung kailangan para mag-survive yung startup. Pero pag ganun yung startup nyo, hindi siya lalaki. Kasi kahit gaano kagaling yung founder nyo na yon, isa lang siya eh. So kami before, kahit meron kaming magandang product, kahit meron kaming malaking market, isang project lang yung kayang gawin namin. Kasi isang project lang yung kaya kong gawin. Kapag more than one project, hindi ko na siya kaya. So, so yun yung naging problem ng startup namin before. So nag-form kami ng bagong startup na actually inayos namin yung organizational structure. So nagkaroon ako ng mga co-founders na actually very conscious sila o kami na hindi pwedeng centralize sa akin lahat ng organization. Actually ginawa nilang very decentralized na may ibang nagde-develop, iba yung nag-i-install, iba yung nagsusupport na actually tatakbo siya na wala ako eh. So nung parang yung ganong setup na pwede na kayong mag-expand. Parang nawala yung limitation ng isang tao, ganun. Kasi marami ng tao ngayon yung gumagawa. Tapos bawat isa nag-i-install, dati matagal siya mag-install eh, 3 months bago siya matapos. Pero dahil yun lang ginagawa niya, ngayon mabilis na siya mag-install. 1 month, minsan 1 week kaya niya na. And then another thing is problem rin to ng mga startup, siguro mostly technical or developers. So kami puro engineer. So engineer kami na nakaka-develop ng magandang product, pero hindi namin naintindihan yung business eh. Yung meron silang tinatawag na ikot ng pera, tsaka timpla ng kliyente. So paano yung ikot ng pera? So pag bibili si client ng parking system, tapos nagbibigay sila ng down payment. Yung down payment na yun, gagamitin namin pang-install ng parking system, pangbili ng terminal, pangbili ng car dispenser, ganun. And then, meron palang meron time component yung ganun, na limited lang yung pera mo, na mauubos yung pera mo within 1 month or within 2 months. Ngayon, dapat, bago maubos yung pera mo, natapos ka na ng system mo, para pwede ka na mag-bill ulit ng succeeding payment na para bago maubos yung pera mo ngayon, may dumating ng bagong pera. So yun yung ikot ng pera. So next is ano rin, yung timpla ng kliyente. Yan. So yung mga engineers may hina dito eh. So parang ano yan, parang sa department store, no, may mga iba na clients na nag-iikot lang eh. Meron din namang iba na gusto nang bumili o may kailangan bilhin. So kapag may nakita ka palang client na gusto nang bumili at may perang pambili, kailangang bentahan na siya kaagad. Dati kasi mga engineers kami na kapag may mabait na kliyente, yan, masarap kausap, na parang gusto bibili naman, gagawin namin, mag-offer pa kami ng pwede pa tating dagdagan ng magandang features yan, ganyan. Yung pala, kapag nagsasuggest ka ng ganun, binibigyan pa ng decision point si client na parang gusto niya nang bumili eh. Tapos pinag-isipan pa siya kung gusto niya pa ng additional na dapat pag bibili na siya, pabilihin mo na siya. Huwag mo nang guluhin yung isip niya. So, yun. So, before, kahit meron kaming good product, hesitant kaming kumuha ng investor kasi alam namin na kailangan namin ayusin muna yung internal organization namin eh. Kasi kahit makakuha kami ng funding, kapag wala kang good business sense, mauubos lang yung pera mo. So, before getting investors, yung unang-unang dapat kailangan ayusin ng mga startup, yung organizational structure nila. So, susunod na inayos namin is yung product quality tsaka system reliability. So, parang from 2 months, na-shorten namin sa 2 weeks. Kasi, magagaling na yung mga tao namin. And then, actually, yung system reliability, importante. So, nagsisimula pa lang kami. Nagde-develop pa lang ng program. And then, limited yung budget. Ginagawa namin, bibili namin yung pinakamura na gagana. So, dahil ganun yung ginawa namin, gumagana naman yung system namin, napapagana namin within the limited budget. Pero, madalas siya masira. And then, in-address namin yun na sige, okay, maglalagay lang kami ng technical support. Pero later, realize namin, nalulugi pala kami dun sa technical support. Kasi 24/7 yung tao namin, may 3 kami nagbabantay. Actually, 4 na service technician sa isang property. So, unti-unti naubos yung pera. So, later na, nung nag-mature na kami, parang ginawa namin is, ayaw namin gumastos sa technical support or gusto namin i-minimize yung technical support. So, bumili kami ng pinaka-reliable na components na alam namin. Tapos, naging mas mahal yung cost niya for installation. Pero dahil nag-invest kami sa mas mahal at mas reliable na component, naging mas reliable yung system namin. Tapos, mas less yung technical support. So, naging viable yung business. And then, yung sa customer support, nag-mature din kami. Parang dati, antayin mo masira yung system bago mo puntahan. Pag nasira, natataranta yung parking manager, natataranta yung mall manager kasi nagta-traffic sa entrance, sumaabot sa kalsada. Kami natataranta rin. But later na-realize namin na parang instead of on-call technical support na nag-aantay kami masira siya, meron na lang kaming periodic maintenance. So, bago siya masira, nililinis na namin siya, nilalagyan ng oil, ganun, para hindi siya nasisira. So, tumaas yung reliability ng system namin. So finding the pain point of your startup will solve is a long and difficult process, so involving knowing your customer well and the problems they encounter. So this is very difficult, especially sa mga founders na yung main strength is programming and engineering. But this is very essential towards building a successful startup. So maraming uncertainties yung founder na they need to deal with, but having a clear problem to solve and a vision for the future provides a general direction where the startup is headed. So solving the pain point of a customer involves a period of growth for the startup. So expect that there will be problems, and the startup has to destination. We do not know if the wave will be strong or calm, or if the boat know that as long as they follow the North Star, they will eventually reach their destination. So my parting advice to start up, so find and pursue your North Star. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sir Roderick. Thank you very much for this very enlightening talk. So we'd like to ask you and Sir June to have your video ready as we're going to get into like the fireside chat portion of the program. So I guess what's interesting, and we're very lucky to have both of you here, is that you both are working on hardware, and you both have to kick things off. Is what are the common challenges that you see during the commercialization process? You touched on it a bit, kanina, Sir Roderick, talking about your team, but I'd like to hear from both of you what that process has been like.
Ayun. Actually, sa commercialization, no, hardware, actually yung mahirap sa hardware, pagka-develop mo sa kanya, kailangan mo siyang i-test properly na magiging very reliable siya. So kami, actually, after namin ma-develop yung hardware, it took several more years na mag-mature yung hardware para bago namin siya pwedeng i-deploy. And then, nung ready na kami i-deploy, actually maraming challenges in terms of captured market mo siya. Na hindi sila pwedeng, ayaw ko na ibang app na yung gusto kong gawin. Kasi yung app namin is yun lang gagana dun sa hardware namin.
Sir June?
Sige, sa amin, actually ganun din. Mahirap talaga gumawa ng hardware. In fact, yung namin, ang dami ng iterations na nangyari. Based yun sa mga customer feedback din, sa mga nakukuha namin from the people, ay mga mangingisda, at saka yung mga ini-installan namin. So, ang doon talaga, continuous yung R&D. Yun ang pinaka-importante, continuous research and development mo. Kasi, lalo na kami, yung environment namin, iba sa dagat, sa aeroplano, ang daming environmental factors na kailangan tignan. And we need to have research and development more. Luckily, laki din ang tulong talaga ng government. For example, right now, yung DOST, MIRDC, they're helping us to create a new casing for our transponders. So nakita na namin kasi before kung ano yung mga nagiging problem namin. May mga tumagal ng taon, and we see now na ito dapat bagong iteration natin dapat can withstand that now already. So luckily nandyan si MIRDC to help us. Meron silang equipment, meron silang gamit, and we're working with them right now para dun sa ikagaganda ng casing namin. Yun.
For those who are not as familiar, MIRDC stands for
Naku, hindi ko masyado memorize. Pero metal industries, parang gano'n. But yung pinaka-main goal nila right now is they actually have a program. Dapat ilo-launch yun noong June, I think, because of the pandemic na siguro na gano'n, na they want to help startups na, with regards to their hardware needs. For example, yung mga 3D printed materials or mga pre-production costs that you have. For example, yan, yung pag-create ng molde, mahal mag-create ng molde, but they can actually help you in the design, and they can help you kung ano yung mga materials na kailangan kasi they have experts na magsasabi, mas maganda ito yung gamitin natin na material for this kasi ito kaya niya yan. So yan, ang laking tulong ng government with regards to that. Yeah.
And then do they share the cost with you as well, or para is it 100% on the UST?
Yeah, so sa ngayon, we share the cost with them. So yun yung kagandahan. They provide the expertise and everything. We just provide the materials naman. So the materials that needed for that. And then, yun, kung makita mo lang yung meetings namin, na-overwhelm ako kasi sobrang ganda nung yung in-imagine namin na casing is basically a case na dinesign namin, okay, paglabas nun sa kanila, may mga iterations na sobrang ganda na nung kinalabasan. So, tuwan-tuwa kami. Yeah.
And then, I guess a similar question as well, since you touched on yung sa open sourcing yung design for, I think the testing booth earlier. How did the government help you out in that area?
Okay. Yung nangyari doon actually is we receive a grant from DOST PSHERD and DOST PCHRD. So dalawang department ng DOST who actually help us para ma-produce 132 na booths. So ang ano lang doon, ginawa namin siyang open. We upload, yun nga, naka-upload ngayon sa website ng DOST yung design ng specimen collection booth para pwede nilang ma-download ng mga manufacturers. For example, nasa malayong lugar sila, they can actually do so, create it, and then distribute it also. Yeah.
All right. And then we'll tackle this question from Veronica, which is for both of you. From your experience, what are the most essential skills or subjects an innovator must study to come up with solutions for different industries?
Sige. Sa akin, ano siya eh. Actually, more of open-minded ka. Ganun actually, ano yun eh. Parang malaki yung solution set eh. Na pag meron kang problem na tinatackle, malaki yung solution set. And then, kailangan i-research mo properly iba't ibang aspects ng bawat merits and demerits ng bawat solution. So marami kang pag-aaralan. Ngayon, kapag naka-decide ka na, kailangan na mas pag-aralan mo pa siya. So yung willingness to learn. Tapos sa startup kasi hindi pwedeng ka lang engineer ka. Engineer lang ako, magpo-program lang ako. Ganun. So for the startup to survive, kailangan mong matutong magbenta, kailangan mong kumuusap ng mga tao kahit hindi ka mahilig magsalita, hindi ka mahilig makipag-meeting. But if you want you want the startup to survive, if you want to be able to solve the customer pain point, kailangan mong mag-grow eh. Ayun pala, mag-grow, learn and grow mag-adapt ka dun sa ano yung kailangan ng situation, tapos mag-respond ka dun.
Yan. Siguro on my side naman, actually similar, but yung siguro parang payo na rin doon sa wag tayong mahiya na mag-suggest kasi yun yung una pag halimbawa may problema, ang pinakaunang pwede mong gawin is mag-suggest ka ng solusyon eh. And then may makikinig, and then if you can do it, gawin mo lang, wag kang mahihiya. Actually for example for us, marami kaming mga iterations na pumalpak. Hindi kagad pag may nagawa kang solution is perfecto kagad siya, magraran kagad siya. So ang daming beses pumapalpak siya. But what we do is we just try and try. Tapos yun nga, hindi kami nahihiya magtanong, humingi ng feedback para masolusyonan namin yung isang problema na yon. So yun, siguro yung payo na rin yun na kailangan lakasan mo yung loob mo and then huwag kang mahiya magtanong, mag-suggest din. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. I guess a bit more time pa. So let's tackle some of the earlier questions that have been asked. Oh, here's another one pala, which is a great follow-up for the question you got earlier. How do you hire a great first team for your startup? What questions or information do you ask, or what kind of information do you get to help you assess capability, consistency, and character of your first hires?
Sige. Actually, nung nag-start kami, problema yung hiring. So, and then tapos limited yung choices namin kung sino yung mga mapipili namin for sales, for programming, ganun. So parang kung sino lang yung nag-apply, parang kukunin namin siya. Although actually more of yung yung skill, tapos yung bang maintindihan niya na pumapasok sa isang startup, tapos maraming problems kang kailangan i-solve. So kaming mga co-founders, marami kaming sinosolve na problem, and then yung mga employees, kasama namin sa pag-solve ng mga problems na yun. So, possible na pag hinire mo sila, hindi sila masyadong magaling eh. Pero dahil ganun yung attitude namin, tinitreat namin sila as actually more of a friend, not just an employee. So nag-grow kami, nag-grow rin sila. So medyo mabagal pero dumarating yung point na gumagaling sila. Ganun, na pwede mo nang iwan yung mga portions ng business dun sa mga tao na dati hindi nila alam. Ganun. Pero ngayon magaling na sila. So isa yun. Ngayon rin naman. Actually, ngayon kasi marami na mga available na tools to properly select yung mga kung may programmer ka or marketing, ganun. So dapat gamitin 'yon. And then pa rin naman mag-a-apply pa rin naman na pag nakapili kayo ng magaling, i-treat niyo silang mabuti na sila. I-challenge niyo sila na mag-grow pa together with you, together with your startup. Para sabay-sabay kayong nag-grow.
Yan. Siguro on our side naman, unang tinatanong namin actually magkano yung sweldo niya. Kasi baka mamaya mahal, hindi namin kaya. So yun, as a startup. Pero hindi, yung sa amin hinanap namin yun nga, willingness to learn. Tsaka yung nakikita namin yung madaling mag-adapt. Marami kasing taong ganun eh. Actually, hindi naman kailangan talaga skillful na pagpasok pa lang niya is alam niya na lahat. Yun nga, willingness to learn, tsaka may initiative. Yun ay napaka-importante rin. Kasi yun yung nakikita namin sa mga staff, mga kasama namin ngayon. So basically, may mga initiative sila. So they actually ask questions. Yun na importante para hindi lang basta naghihintay kung ano yung gagawin, but yun, kailangan may personal initiative din. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then I guess let's continue down this path na rin of like talking about building a team to support the business. What about co-founders? So what qualities or mindsets do you look for in a co-founder? And also, what are some of the best ways to look for or find co-founders?
Ayan. Actually, parang last week ba yun, merong talk, diba, sa Idea Space about parang building startup teams. Tapos yung things na nag-stuck sa akin is una, find the similar co-founders or actually co-founders that think different from you. So parang siya, actually pag tinignan mo, invitation for trouble siya. But actually mas maganda na meron kang co-founder na iba yung point of view sa'yo. So mag-argue kayo pero parang pag by that time, pag na-resolve niyo yung argument niyo, magiging stronger yung yung startup, magiging stronger yung decision. Kasi you came from different view, tapos nag-reconcile kayo in the middle or meron kayong nahanap na resolution. Isa yon. Tapos ano pa ba to? Yun nga. Dissimilar, different skills. So kami, problem namin before, puro engineers kami. So kailangan namin ng people to market yung namin, and then finance. Actually, very, very different yung point of view ni finance person kay engineering person tsaka kay marketing person. So nagtatalo kami, pero naintindihan ng isa't isa na kaya kami nagtatalo dahil gusto namin i-build yung startup, gusto namin i-push yung product.
Yeah. Ganun din sa amin. Actually, nung first nag-join kami Idea Space, tatlo kami. We're all technical. And then, yung dalawang kasama ko is basically matagal na kami magkasama. Kaya almost noong time na yun, 16 years, 15 years na kami magkasama. And then, what we did was to actually find co-founders na mas may strong point, for example, on the finances side, on the marketing side, on legal side. So para kompleto yun. Then maaaring ang iba-iba yung views namin, but basically when we have a meeting, we discuss it among ourselves, and yun, napapag-usapan naman lahat. So yun, medyo diverse pero one yung goal. Yun.
Before you found like your co-founders or your other teammates, how were you, supplementing the team so you would have like that expertise in finance or legal? Were you looking for interns, or were you looking for part-timers or even volunteers to help you out as you were building your startup?
Mm. So, ako actually nung start do it all eh. So tinry ko siyang pag-aralan lahat. Ganun. Pero pala siya, hindi siya maganda. Ganun. So siya, malilimit yung growth mo eh. So syempre kahit gaano ka kagaling, hindi limited yung kaya mong gawin. And then pag hindi ka na nag-grow, hindi na mag-grow yung startup. Ganun. So nung actually yung isang way ng pag-supplement namin ng mga kulang namin is actually idea space. So mahirap kasing maghanap ng mga ng mga magagaling na sales, magaling na legal, magaling na HR, ganun. Pero may mga mentors si Idea Space na magagaling, ganun. So hindi man sila internal sa amin, ganun. Pero dahil nagbigay sila ng advice sa amin, mas maganda yung mas maganda yung mga decisions na ginagawa namin. Ganun. So, eventually siguro magkakaroon kami ng sales talaga, ng legal talaga na Pero until that time, ganun, happy kami na part kami ng Idea Space. Ganun. Or may mga natatanungan kami sa Idea Space about yung sa kailangan namin sa startup para mag-grow kami.
Yan. Yun sa amin din, actually same. Sa Idea Space namin nakuha yun through the mentorships that we got, and then mga payo ng mga staff, and then also yung executive program, yung pag-aral namin sa AIM. Actually, laking tulong nun kasi talaga natutunan namin on the business, on the entrepreneurship side kung paano mag-business. So, yan talaga, malaking tulong yan. Yeah.
Okay, and then we have a couple of questions naman on pivoting. So yes, this is for you, Sir June. So you mentioned that earlier started really focusing on the aviation industries, and then you moved towards more maritime. How did you manage that pivot? And then also we have a follow-up question here. Would the transponders be useful for surfboards and surfers, because there are a lot of cases of surfers getting lost? So I guess talking about alternate uses for the technology.
Okay. Siguro yan, doon sa unahin ko na yung sa surfers. Yes, actually ideal siya. Meron kaming may proposal kami before actually sa Singapore to for kayaks. So similar naman yan, yung mga standing na kayak. So yan, nakaharap doon. Kasi ang problem, yung mga tao matitigas na ulo, lumalampas doon sa dapat lang na required doon sa resort. So if lumampas doon, magti-trigger ng alert. So yan, actually ideal siya. Pwede siya doon gamitin. Tapos yung with regards to doon sa pivot naman, actually isa kasi doon sa nakita namin bakit kami nag-focus sa maritime rather than aviation. Siguro yung when we check yung magiging growth namin din. For example, for aircrafts, hindi naman ganun karaming eroplano natin dito sa Pilipinas. So if we focus on that, okay naman kasi we can really help. Pero with regards to the growth siguro nung mas magiging limited siya. Nakita namin siya on the maritime. Kasi for example, fishing boats lang So we have around 800,000 fishing boats in the country. So ang laki ng market kaagad. Tapos yun, ang nataon din doon is yun na ginawang batas yung Republic Act 106. It's actually revised Republic Act 10654 na requiring all boats to have tracking and monitoring capability. And then yung lately nakita namin talagang nakatulong pala kami doon sa traceability side kasi yun yung hinahanap ng ibang countries din na when we presented it naging interesado sila. So yun, naging hindi madali kasi basically we have other use cases then before. Kaya lang, sabi ko nga kanina doon sa presentation ko, dapat as a startup, you need really to focus. Ang hirap nung maraming ginagawa. Actually, na-experience ko na yun, yung maraming ang ginagawa tapos wala ka na natatapos. Actually, yun naman yan. Pero if you focus on one thing, mas mapapadali. Yung ibang use cases, hindi naman namin pinabayaan, pero ang namin doon, ang naging ng companies, to actually have someone take care of it, yung mga talaga experts na doon. We just license it, for example, but we focus on the maritime side. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering that question. Over to Sir Rodek. our hospitals, since we're talking about high traffic places, unfortunately, are hospitals now using iPark? Are there other clients that you have aside from malls?
Actually, wala pa. Actually, konti pa lang yung client namin. Araneta, tapos tsaka Resorts World. Yan. And then actually, supposed to be this year, mag-start kami mag-market sa mga ibang properties. Kaso, nabitin kami dun sa nag-lockdown bigla. Yan. So hopefully, actually, sana may makuha pa kaming additional malls within the year. But definitely by next year, magpupush kami ng marketing na majority ng malls makuha namin. Tsaka hospitals, and then schools din. And tapos mga actually office buildings, mga mga commercial business districts. Kailangan nila ng doon mahirap kasi yung parking eh. So kailangan nila ng kailangan namin sila matulungan para mga drivers mas madaling makapark.
Okay, thank you for answering that question. And then I think this might be for you as well, but I'll check also with Sir June if this applies to him. What type of payment do you integrate into the system? Sorry, what type of payment do you integrate into the system?
Ako ba yan?
Yes, mukhang for you.
Actually, yung ngayon, pa lang siya, puro cash payment yan sa so more of Araneta Center kanta. Pero may mga iniisip na kaming mga digital payment. Ganun. Pero before March, parang hindi siya immediate. Ganun. Pero after the lockdown, parang lahat ng mga clients naghahanap ng cashless tsaka contactless solutions. So may ginawa kaming bagong product kaso paano pa lang siya, pa-launch pa lang. Ganun. So hindi pa siya available sa market.
Sir June, have you had experience integrating payments?
Yung sa payments actually ngayon by September yon we have a project together with WWF tsaka yung Streamer yung pangalan nung sa Sweden-based company. To-try out nila yun, magkaroon ng parang digital wallets yung mga fishermen. So, but yung role namin doon is basically the traceability data. Kasi once merong datang mapapakita yung mga isda, ito yung mga huli ko for this month, para pwede sila maging bankable, if ever.
Yes.
So, so yun yung may ginagawa kami project ngayon with them. Actually, meetings pa lang. Pero by September, we would probably launch that. Tapos, yung model kasi namin is basically subscription for our transponders. Pero sa ngayon, yung mga nagbabayad sa amin are maritime organizations. And later on, yung nakikita namin is pati processors can actually benefit from the processors itself. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. We also have another question from Marielle of Business World. So let's say you spot a pain point that's outside of your usual industry, but you really feel strongly about finding a solution yourself. Where do you start? I think this is related to your cycling experience.
Okay. Sige, yun sa yun. Actually ngayon, isang pain point yun na personal pain point. Mataas yung sugar ko. So, kailangan ko siya mapababa. So, what I did was to actually create a bike. So, trinay ko siya. Tapos, kwinento ko lang sa iba if they need it or if they would want to have that then. Tapos nakita ko ang daming nag-i-inquire na sa akin. So, yun. So, kaya ko naisipan yun doon sa bike din, sa paggawa. Tapos siguro na related din yun doon sa COVID-19 projects namin. Kasi it's not entirely related with maritime. Pero ginawa namin. Kasi basically, objective namin doon, makatulong talaga. Nakita namin yung mga ibang companies, ibang startups that are doing their part din doon sa pagtulong sa paglaban sa COVID. And kaya yung naisip namin gawin din. So, ang isang doon is hindi naman kami lumayo totally kasi basically we're using the same platform, we're using the same hardware that we have parang tunick lang namin ng konti para pumasok doon sa lugar na yan. Tapos syempre yung medical side, yun, we get experts kasi wala naman kaming, hindi naman kami expert on the medical side. We talk with experts, we get feedback from people para magawa namin yan, matapos namin siya.
Yan. Sa amin naman, ano kasi, actually engineer din kami. Yan. Tapos yung co-founder ko, engineer din. Tapos usually kapag pag may nakitang problem, parang automatic yan, nag-iisip kami ng solution. Parang yun sakit yata ng mga engineer yun eh. Pag may nakitang problem, kailangan mag-isip ng solution. Pero ako personally, tinatry kong i-limit yun kasi feeling ko actually we already have we're already solving a good pain point, and we have a market, and then we have a product. Tapos marami pa kaming kailangan gawin para mas successfully deploy yon. Tapos ayokong maguluhan kami dun sa deployment. Pero that's my personal opinion. So ngayon dun sa naman namin, sa organization namin, sabi ko similar kami, di ba? So meron namang akong co-founder, sa sales naman siya, sabi niya, hindi, yan, magandang opportunity yan, kayang-kaya niyong gawin yan, ganito lang gagawin yan, ganun. Tapos pwede tayong kumita, huwag yun ang problemahin yung business side, ako bahala doon. So nagtatalo kami. Pero so ayun, depende dun sa opportunity. Nagtatalo kami. Tapos depende dun sa kung sino manalo, kung pa-person nila yon. So actually example yun na may co-founders ako na dissimilar mag-isip sa akin. And then nagtatalo kami. Tapos eventually at the end ng argument, mas maganda yung idea na lumalabas. Ayun. So, okay. Did I answer it properly?
Yes. That definitely covers it.
Kasi.
I think we have a question here. I guess for people who don't have an engineering or tech-related background, and I guess we touched on this earlier as well, but just wanted to see if you have any additional input or advice. What kind of knowledge do you need to have to build a tech product?
Before, parang pag kailangan mong gumawa ng tech product, kailangan engineer kayo, scientist ka, o programmer ka. Ganun. Pero ngayon kasi, actually, pwede mong i-google na yan eh. So yung advice ko, kung gusto mong maging startup founder, hindi ka magaling sa technology, i-pursue mo siya. Yung mga tao, yung mga mga co-founders mo or magiging business partner mo or mga giging client mo, hindi naman lang tatanungin na marunong ka bang gumawa niyan. Tatanungin nila, actually yung gusto nilang marinig is ano ba yung problem na gusto mong i-solve sa amin. Tapos titignan nila kung gaano ka ba ka-dedicated i-solve yung problem na yon. Pag nakita nilang dedicated ka, makakampante sila, sige, actually kahit wala siyang product pero feeling ko magagawa niya to eh. Tapos pagbawa napa-oo yung client na wala ka namang product. Do all you can. Maraming napagkadali na kasing mag-network ngayon eh. Na if you have this idea na hindi mo alam paano gawin dahil hindi ka programmer, pag nagtanong-tanong ka, eventually makikita kang mga tao na alam paano siya gawin eh. So kailangan mo ng grit para mahanap yung tao na yon, and then grit para ma-push na ma-develop yung product na yon, and then mo siya. Kahit hindi ka developer, maging involved ka sa development, tingnan mo yung usability side, yung AI side niya, tapos intindihin mo yung requirement ni client, tapos explain mo yun doon sa gumagawa na ito si client, ganito yung situation niya. Hindi niya magagamit yan pag ganito ginawa mo, dapat ganito. So mga mga valuable input sa product development na hindi mo kailangan hindi kailangan na marunong ka mag-code or kailangan o marunong kang gumawa ng circuit para ma-implement. Pero critical component siya para magawa yung product na yun. Sige, yun.
Yeah. So far, I'm hearing a lot of listening, definitely, to know how to listen, and then also critical thinking, then to get to the root of like what you get from feedback and how that can translate to the product. Sir June, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
Yun. Siguro, yun. Pag ano naman, kailangan pag-aralan mo rin talaga kasi yung ano yun nga, nabanggit kanina Rodek, ang dami ng sources sa internet where you can get it. Tapos if you want to develop hardware, ang dami ng hardware na you can make use para mapabilis yung development mo. For example, there are Arduinos, Raspberry Pis na sobrang daming tutorials na makikita sa internet. Magugulat ka, kahit hindi ka developer, magugulat ka na lang gumagana na yung produkto sa harap mo pag nagawa mo. So, dami na resources. Try to work on it. Kasi kung passion mo naman talaga yon, hindi siguro na masamang pag-aralan mo na rin, gawin mo na rin. Diba? Tapos, yung mga nitty-gritty part nun, yun na yung papagawa mo doon sa mga developers na makukuha mo or ano, na maayos. Kasi normally, ganun yung sa amin. First, I try it out. Pag okay, tsaka namin pinagpaplanuhan paano namin gagawin. So, para yun. Tapos, be open din for suggestions sa mga iba. Yun yung maganda. Tapos, yun, hindi mo naman magagawa ngayon. You need to delegate it also with others. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sir June. We have a question here from Rodek from Mr. June Bagaindo. So, Sir Rodek, I heard you were all engineers. When you were at Idea Space in the acceleration program, did you hear comments that your team was product focused? If yes, how did you sort of overcome that quote-unquote obstacle?
Actually, wala naman nagsabi sa amin na ganon. Pero actually, yung comment sa amin na Miss Dayan, mabagal kami. Ganun. Kasi actually pag engineer ka, pag may problem, madaling alam ko na yung code niyan alam ko yung circuit para gawin yan. Pero sa Idea Space kasi tatanong nila, ano ba requirement ni customer? Ano ba yung kailangan ni business? No, ngayon dahil meron kasing AIM tsaka may mga mentors. So yung gap namin na yon napi-fill. Pero mabagal kaming mag-respond. Yung hindi siya common sense sa amin yung pag-alam, pagkilala dun sa customer, yung paggawa ng marketing plan, mabagal. Ganun. So naging mabagal kami during yung acceleration program. Ngayon meron na kaming ganon. Siya actually parang nakukuha rin naman namin yung tamang direction pero parang 2 weeks naman siyang pinagtatalunan versus yung meron ng pumasok common sense kaagad sa kanya. Bawa isang example, meron client ganun, tapos nag-ask ng discount ganun, tapos namin, paano ka magbibigay ng discount, saan mo kukunin yung discount? So malaking problema yun for us. Pero yung meron ng business na tao na dito mo kukunin yung discount yan, tapos paano pag ayaw nagpumilit siya, insist mo kasi ganito, meron actually meron ng dahil meron kang expert na doon, mas mabilis yung decision making process. So ayun, yun yung naging problem namin sa Idea Space. Tapos yun yung naging resolution namin ngayon. So yung time yung nawawala sa iyo dahil wala kaming expertise doon sa ibang areas. Ayun. Okay ba?
Sir June, did that answer your question? You can unmute if you have any additional questions.
Yeah, I hope I am being heard.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I can sympathize ganyan talaga. I am also an engineer, hardware engineer. Yeah, I can sympathize with Sir Roddick statement kanina na engineers think like that. Now, when it comes to other subject matter, we're kind of slow in a sense na it's being perceived from the outside na slow nga yung team. I can sympathize kasi we are like that ngayon eh.
Oo.
Ang dilemma namin is we got comments na our plans are very product focused. I mean, pushing at that towards development ng business side of it, trying to really understand the customer, and that's where we are really working right now to put more emphasis on that area. My alumni mentor is here, Sir Junjun. We will pick your brains, I guess, in the coming days on that one.
Jun, if add ko lang actually ano siya very dangerous yung situation namin kasi actually functional naman kami. Para na-fulfill namin requirement pero naglo-lose kami ng time. Tapos yung pala, 'di ba? Pag ngayong at this age, very important yung time element sa pag-launch ng product, sa pag-launch ng startup. So, try nyong i-solve yung problem na yun as soon as possible.
Yeah, yun ang focus namin ngayon eh. We're trying to get a lot of channels towards understanding that one and getting more information. Actually, kagabi nag-meet lang kami ng buong team. Yun ang primary agenda. And I guess we just have to do what we need to do. Ganun.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Sir June, for the question. I guess for the benefit of everyone on this call and anyone listening or watching on Facebook, June is actually part of our current cohort for the Idea Space Acceleration Program, and like Sir Roderick and Sir June, he's also working on hardware, if I'm not mistaken. Tama ba, Sir June?
Yes, we are hardware team. Basically, ang hardware team sa Idea Space is they come every few often, di ba? Eunice?
Yes.
Pag tinali mo yung mga teams na sumali sa Idea Space that reach the acceleration phase or even the pre-acceleration phase, almost all of them are either in hardware, systems, something like that. Very, very few ang hardware because I understand yung hardware kasi is expensive na. It takes time. You cannot do a version 1 today and then version 2 tomorrow. Hardware time. Version 1 today, maybe a few weeks or even a month, version 2. That's because hardware parts, you need to ship it from somewhere else. And then you need to wait for it to arrive, and then you bring it all together. So it takes time. Unlike in software, you do version 1 today, you burn the candle overnight, you have version 2 tomorrow morning. Diba? wala lang tulugan. Hardware is a different animal. I guess my R2 speakers here can agree with me that it's a different animal talaga sa development.
Okay, we have another question here from Veronica for Sir June. What do you look for in institutional partners like USAID, UST, etc.? What is the best way to work with other orgs that are not only financially capable but are also aligned with your values and priorities?
Yun. Ang kagandahan nga doon is when we started, yun na yung inahanap ng mga maritime organizations ng time na yan. Basically, the transponders, they're looking for an AIS alternative. AIS kasi yun yung para sa ginagamit ng malalaking boats na satellite base. So they want to have a smaller version. Tama-tama, pumasok naman kami. So isang malaking tulong actually yun nga, if you join for example Idea Space or other accelerators, yung network, ang laki ng network, so you have the chance to pitch yung inyong product, and then pag na-pitch nyo, and then if there's a fit dun sa kanilang organization, madali kagad makapag-usap. For example, for us, automatic yan. Narinig lang kami ng WWF sa isang meeting. After that, nagulat kami, si WWF, kinalat na kami sa lahat ng mga organizations, uy, meron ganitong gumagawa, meron ganito. And then they started contacting us. So yun isang magandang nangyari. Pati yung USAID Oceans, project ni USAID, actually we were referred by WWF. Kung titingnan po natin ngayon, sobrang daming tumutulong na mga organizations sa mga companies, lalo na yung mga startups doing social enterprise. Ang dami po naghahanap, ang daming investors that are there, and not only investors in terms of money but also with the network that they have para tulungan, para makilala. Yun yung kagandahan. For example, si USAID, they brought us to different countries para makilala yung product namin, and eventually nagkakaroon ng fit. And at the same time, with the government naman, si DOST ngayon napaka-active din with startups na talagang tumutulong sila para ma-enhance mo pa yung product mo or para maparating mo yung dun sa market mo. Yun, DOST started in 2018. Kasama kami dun sa first batch na nagkaroon sila ng grant for startups. And hanggang ngayon, ginagawa pa rin nila yun. You can go to their website and then see to it. Tingnan nyo kung ano yung mga parang nag-fit dun sa balak nyong gawin na business. And then check it out with their website. Makikita nyo naman po doon kung ano yung pwedeng gamitin. Yeah.
Yes. Sir Roderick, kayo naman, in terms of partners or maybe even clients, how do you determine who's aligned with the business and your values?
Okay, actually, una, ano muna, diba? Ano yung kung yung capability ba nila, yun ba yung kailangan namin? So, una yon. Tapos pangalawa, in terms of alignment, dun sa gusto namin mangyari. Actually, pinipitch namin yun sa kanila. So, possible na hindi sila aligned from the start. But, we pitch to them our business idea, tapos ano yung product namin, ano yung problem na gusto namin isolve. Tapos, during the meeting, ina-observe namin, ano ba sila, receptive ba sila, and then, may mga problema kaming kailangan isolve, willing ba silang tumulong sa mga problema na yun, or kaya ba nilang isolve yung mga problem na yun. So parang during the meeting, ina-assess namin sila. And then at the end of the meeting, mag-uusap kaming mga co-founders. Ano assessment niyo sa ganito? Okay ba sila? Or hindi ba sila okay? Bakit sila hindi okay? O bakit sila okay? And then we decide afterwards, tsaka namin babalikan si client or si potential business partner. So, yan.
Yes, we're starting to see na in terms of both partners and clients, it's not just 100% about the money. We're also looking at networks. We're also looking at fit and ability to like handle or work with startups.
May iba kasi actually gusto nila pero gusto nilang maging involved as a pera-pera lang. So, siya Tapos pag startup ka kasi hindi guaranteed yung pera. Kaya ka nga startup So very careful kami sa mga ganun. Na dapat maintindihan niya na startup to, tapos bagong product to, bagong market to. Maraming kailangan gawin para maging successful siya. Tapos kailangan namin ng partner na naintindihan yon, na sasamahan kami dun sa hirap na yon.
Thank you. That's sobrang helpful for a lot of the people who are listening right now. Yes. So we'd like to find out if there are any other questions from the audience for Sir Roderick and Sir June. You can type them in the group chat, or you can raise your hand so we can unmute you as well. And you can always ask using Slido and use the Grit and Grind code on slido.com. So I guess the other question, since you're both Idea Space alumni, let's ask it na rin in case there are people watching this or listening to us who might want to apply for the acceleration program. How did you prepare to apply for Idea Space?
Yung pag-prepare, actually,
Yes.
pinakamahirap sa akin yung paggagawa ng video kasi actually hindi ako magaling magsalita. Ganun. Tapos nahirapan ako mag-organize ng thoughts. Tapos parang dapat sa video confident ka. Ganun. So mas magaling ako nagde-develop lang yung nagko-program. Pero parang in-overcome ko siya. So and then actually I think na nakita naman nila na sincere kami dun sa goal namin na ma-establish yung startup. And then parang dahil nakita nila na meron kaming ganung determination, inaccept nila kami sa program. So yung more of yung growth potential mo nung startup yung I think tinignan nila. Tsaka yung composition ng team kung ano ba to, coachable ba to, makikinig ba to sa amin. Yan. So mukha naman kaming nakikinig during the interview. Tapos receptive kami sa mga sinasabi nung ibang idea space na tao tsaka yung mga mentors.
Sir June?
Yung sa amin, ganun din. Nung nag-prepare kami yon na talagang sinagutan namin ng maayos yung forms, saka yung video, gumawa rin kami ng video namin. And then we have an MVP na siguro. Siguro yun isang, hindi ko pa alam dati na tawag doon MVP, yung minimum viable product, natutunan ko lang sa Idea Space. Pero basically, gumawa na kami ng parang demo namin. So during that, pinapakita namin how it works. Paano makakatulong. Yun siguro, if you want na talagang mas madaling mapapakinggan yung gusto mong parating doon sa startup mo, pakita mo talaga how it works kasi mas malaking points yun. If they see na yan, malalaman nila doon, ito pala yun, ito pala ibig sabihin nun. So yan, siguro you prepare for that before joining. Yeah.
So in terms of I guess you get a little bit into the details. In terms of preparing the form, what kind of questions should people expect when they're applying for the Idea Space program?
Ayun. Actually, yung tanong kasi, hindi lang naman on the business itself eh. If they would, yung mga nagbabalak, pag nakita niyo yung questionnaire, more on personal din yung mga questions. Kasi kung ano ba yung vision mo, ano yung tapos individual kayong sasagot, hindi kayo sabay-sabay, di ba? Hindi naman kayo magkakasama. And then tinitingnan din siguro doon kung paano kayo nag-fit as founders. Yun, better be ready on that din sa pagsagot doon. Tsaka yun nga, dapat may one goal kayo. For example, you have 3 founders na talagang napag-usapan nyo ng gusto, tsaka talagang yun yung gusto nyo gawin. For the next 5 years, next 10 years, nakafocus kayo doon. Ayan.
Sige, Sir Rode.
Sa akin, actually, yung napansin ko nun sa application program ng Idea Space. No? So parang kalahati niya is yung business or yung business idea or yung product. And then yung kalahati niya, yung mga co-founders. Sino ba sila? Ano yung capability nila? Ano yung educational background nila? Tapos yun eh. So equal yung weight nung dalawa. Na meron kang inaayos na startup tsaka product, and then tinitingnan rin nila yung capability nung co-founders, nung startup founders to be able to execute yung business plan or yung business idea.
So yun, for anyone who's planning on joining, you have a couple of early tips. Hindi pa po open yung applications for 2021, but it's good to start thinking about your application early if you want to be part of the 2021 cohort. This is also to give you more than enough time to prepare. If there are no more questions, we're just checking Slido, Facebook, and Zoom to see if there are any other questions that we haven't covered yet. But so far, I think we've covered everything. For those who might want to get in touch with you separately, how can they contact you?
Ako, email, rodec@ipark.ph.
Yun. Thanks, Sir Rodec. Sir June?
Ayun, kami rin. Ayun, ako junjun@fame.systems. So, yeah, you can email me anytime. Yeah.
Yes, so very easy to remember. So make sure you've noted it. It's junjun@fame.systems and then rodec@ipark.ph. Tama ba, sir, or .com?
PH.
Yun, .ph. So yun. Thank you so much, Sir June and Sir Rodec, for your time this afternoon. For anyone who has any questions as well related to Idea Space and our programs, you can contact us via our Facebook page or Twitter or LinkedIn. So we're in all the major social media platforms. We're also on Instagram if you want to connect with us through there. And then we also have an email address. It's hello@ideaspacefoundation.org. So once again, thank you, Sir Rodec, and thank you, Sir June, for your time today. And thank you, everyone, for watching. We have another Grit and Grind for August. So the next one will be towards the end of the month, and we will be focusing on validation. So we'll release the materials for that pretty soon. So make sure to watch out for that. Okay, thank you, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good weekend. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Eunice.
Thank you.